In the world of finance, there always seems to be one group that has access to information that most of the rest of us don't have, that have an edge at the game. That's known as the smart money. Smart money are the largest financial institutions, hedge funds, and asset managers. They have access to information that most of the rest of us just don't see. So the question is it possible to see what they see, to know what they're buying? The answer is actually yes. Form 13F filings. What are those? They're quarterly reports filed by the institutional investment managers with at least 100 million in assets under management. They're required by the SEC to disclose all long positions. That includes stocks, exchange traded funds, any assets of this nature. Now, we took a look at this data, and it's a lot of data. So we had to be kind of creative in our data analysis techniques. But what we're going to show you are those sectors, and in fact, those individual stocks that have enjoyed the greatest appreciation in terms of share acquisition. In other words, which stocks are these institutions buying? So we take a look at two categories. Number one are industrials. Number two, information technology. Industrials enjoyed a 13% increase in the amount of shares purchased in that particular industry. Information technology, a 29% increase. And again, what we're doing is comparing last quarter to the current quarter. This 29% shows an increase of 29% in the shares that were acquired by the smart money, the institutions, the hedge funds. What stocks are they buying? Well, information technology, it's not all spread out equally. In fact, the vast majority of the purchases in the information technology sector are found in one stock, AVGO. That's otherwise known as Broadcom. They're a semiconductor manufacturer, very closely linked to the AI space as well. No surprise, a lot of money is moving into this space. In this particular case, we saw an 813% increase in the amount of Broadcom shares that were purchased by smart money. And we can see here the stock, this is a daily chart. The 13F filings, in this case, the latest 13F filings were filed October 31st. So all the purchases that occurred in Broadcom occurred before October 31st. And we can see at the time the stock was $180 a share roughly. Well, more recently, we've seen a very, very big move to the upside. Seems like these asset managers, the smart money, looks like they know what they're doing. We can also consider the industrial sector. Now, this includes manufacturers, producers of machinery, transportation equipment, and just like information technology, not all the stocks are purchased equally. In fact, the vast majority of the shares acquired in the industrial sector were contained in CTAS. That's Cintas Corporation. They produce uniforms and a lot of different services and products related to the manufacturing industry and the uniform industry. Now we can see this is not such a pretty picture, not like Broadcom. The 13F filings as of December 31st, we saw the stock around 205, and since then it has dropped precipitously. So how can we use this information? In the case of Broadcom, the stock's already moved up. So how does this help us now to know that has happened? Maybe the information's too late. Well, there's a 3-rule test. Number one, is a stock or the sector in the news? For example, Broadcom, AI, that's all we've been talking about for the past year or so. Number two, has a stock already moved? Well, in the case of Broadcom, yes, it already has. And number three, do we see smart money purchases? In the case of Cintas and Broadcom, the answer inevitably is yes in both cases. So how can this information be used? Well, we have the phenomenon in the market, buying the rumor, selling the news, or take the opposite, selling the rumor, buying the news. Take, for example, a situation like Broadcom, where the smart money has already purchased a stock and the stock's moved up quite a bit and it's already in the news. Well, there's a premise on Wall Street that if everyone in the room has bought the stock, well, there's no more reason for the stock to go up. And maybe for those of us that have already long the stock, that already have it in our portfolio, doesn't mean it's time to sell. But maybe we should start to craft some sort of exit strategy. And conversely, the contrarian of us out there says, hey, the stock's already moved up. Everybody already knows about the stock, including the big money. maybe there's a lot of potential sellers out there. We should look for early signs of a reversal in the trend. In the case of Cintas, for example, the stock is down since then. We have to make the decision. Is the smart money right? If so, maybe we can get the stock at a cheaper price. If the smart money is wrong and they're about to sell the stock, maybe it'll propel the stock down even lower. Maybe we can get it at a really good price, a value play. So crafting an investment strategy alone, based on this information, certainly is not enough. But taking into consideration that these stocks, and we have a list of several more as well that we're going to show you in just a second, knowing that these stocks have been acquired by massive amounts of hedge funds and institutions, massive quantities of these shares, it arms us with the knowledge that maybe the stock will come back into favor, or maybe if there's a reversal, it could be quite a violent reversal. Now, we also want to consider what were the stocks overall that enjoyed the greatest increase in the amount of shares that were purchased. Well, number one, Broadcom. Number two, Cintas. But we also see Palantir and many others. So you can pause the video, take a screenshot of this, for your own general information. And what we propose is maybe use this list as a starting point in a research project. And we're going to continue to watch these names as well. So we can take each one of these names, then look to the charts, then look to the news, and try to make a determination. Have the institutions purchased these stocks? In this case, yes. Have the charts already moved? Is the news out there, or is there more potential? Maybe the stocks are down. Speaking of going down, we also have a list here of the stocks that enjoyed the greatest decrease in shareholdings, meaning these are the stocks that have that the institutions have sold. They're dumping their shares. Have those charts already moved down? It'll be interesting to see. If not, maybe that's in the near-term future as well. Speaking of big stocks, by the way, we can't discuss the year 2024 in the stock market without talking about the Magnificent Seven: Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Google, Meta, Amazon, Nvidia. Now, if you're curious, in the red bars over here, we see that's the percentage change from this quarter to last quarter of the shares acquired. And the two stocks in particular that the institutions, remember, this information is as of October 31st, Tesla and Nvidia had the greatest appreciation, the greatest increase in amount of shares. In fact, the institutions were buying all Magnificent Seven stocks, with the exception of Google, that was down only slightly. But other than that, the smart money definitely was moving into the giant cap stocks and the large cap stocks, including the Magnificent Seven. Now, all this and more, by the way, is found in our new Substack newsletter. We just published it. It has all this information, all of these stock lists and more. And we'll provide a link for that newsletter in the description of this video as well. We hope this has been helpful. We look forward to seeing you back soon.